information. I got to play this exchange between Jay Carney yesterday and Ed Henry from Fox News. Ed Henry asked some serious questions, and you can tell that Jay Carney considers him to be an absolute right-wing kook. He believes that Ed Henry is not just looking for answers, not just somebody one of very few who ever challenged this administration, but he's just a right-wing nut that he has to deal with every day.
He did come from that extreme right-wing organization, CNN. So
So right there, you've got the evidence of what I'm saying, and a really good foundation for the belief structure of Jay Carney. But he actually challenged him pretty solidly yesterday, and here was that little exchange.
On that point of education, August 2nd, 2011, the President signs the Budget Control Act of 2011, last time we had this big debt ceiling fight, into law, and he says we get $2 trillion in deficit reduction, the President says, quote, yet it also allows us to keep making key investments in things like education and research that lead to new jobs and assures we're not cutting too abruptly while the economy is still fragile. August 2011. Here we are more than 2 years later. You're saying the same thing about we need to invest in education.
And how many jobs have we...
Okay, finally, someone has said it. Because this has been going on since 2009. He said it in 2009. He said it in 2010. He said it in 11. He said it in 12. He said it just the other day. He is saying the same exact thing over and over and over and over because every time they say we're going to refocus, we're going to reshift, we're going to rework we're going to... Now we're serious about jobs. We're not going to rest until we have jobs. We're not going to rest until the economy's better. Then, a couple years later, when the economy's not better, they're saying the exact same thing.
Although it looks like Carney was about to launch into his defense of, how many jobs have we created?
And he is. He is. Listen to this.
Has the economy created since then?
And Bernanke yesterday said it's not keeping up, that people are leaving the workforce.
And finally, a little back and forth. He actually challenges him. He doesn't just cave, because sometimes they'll ask the first question. Carney comes back at him and tries to just shut them up. And then they do. They shut up.
Yeah.
Henry didn't do that this time.
Carney made the mistake, which he usually doesn't, by the way, of answering with a question. So in theory...
Right,
the way discussions occur is that when you ask a question, someone's supposed to answer it.
And he did.
Which he doesn't like at all.
And he answered it well, and that is the right answer. First of all, we're not keeping up. We're not a fifth of the way to keeping up with the job loss that we've suffered. The other thing is, the jobs that are being created are far worse than the McJobs they talked about during the Bush administration all those years ago. When we were actually rolling with 300,000, sometimes 400,000 jobs a month, I think there were some months with 500,000 jobs being created. Now, if 30,000 jobs are created, it's a miracle, it's a wondrous event, and we want to have marching bands out in the streets.
Yeah, and they'll brag about it.
Yeah,
they will brag about it.
But something like, for a while at least, it was about 75% of those jobs were part time. I mean, this economy is not doing well. If it were, the Fed would not have to prime the economy with a trillion. Geez, a billion. We do that every minute. With $1 trillion a year in funny money.
We do it about 3 times a day, $1 billion. And that's just the Fed. That's not all the extra stimulus spending that's been built into this economy for a long time. Just the Fed, in additional funds, $85 billion a
day.
Month.
A month.
Yeah.
$85 billion a month.
About $3 billion a day, give or take.
So about $1 trillion per year. Now, if the economy is doing great, if we're in this recovery mode, you don't do that.
And in the Fed's presentation, they lowered growth estimates again.
Yeah.
Every time these guys get together, it's like a lowering growth estimates party. It's not one I wanted to attend.
Yeah.
So stop scheduling them.
Here's some more of that exchange.
That's why
you and I, we're going to do this on Crossfire one day, I promise. But
you'll get your butt kicked if you do.
And let's be clear that I'll be on one side and you'll be on the other.
Oh yeah, we're pretty clear on that.
Jeez, that's
what was true.
Stop. That's him calling him
yes, not a journalist, a right wing kook. That's what I'm talking. That's his mindset. That's who he thinks Ed Henry is, and I don't believe that. I mean, I think Ed Henry is just doing his job here that nobody or very few others will do.
He said the same thing about, who was it, Major Garrett, was the old Fox News
and
guy.
look at him.
And he's not conservative at all.
Not at all.
You now see that he's left Fox. He doesn't appear to be conservative in any way.
No, he sure doesn't.
And again, Ed Henry came there from CNN.
Yeah.
I mean, is CNN employing all sorts of right-wing journalists? If they are, they have an odd product.
True today that we need to continue to invest in education. We need to continue to invest in infrastructure. We need to continue to invest in areas.
So that's their answer. We're saying the same thing over and over and over again because it's still true. Well, why is it still true when these policies you keep repeating were supposed to fix the problem in the first place, and we were supposed to be rolling by now?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And again,
unreal.
Maybe it's not said enough. This is the slowest recovery in measured history in this country. There has never been an economic recovery like this that has taken this long and has gone this slowly. Never. You can look at it any way you want to. There's never been any evidence of anything going this poorly when we're talking about a recovery. And the reason why they're always talking about a recovery is because it's taking so long. Usually at this point, we've already done the recovery and we're on to the next recession. These guys are still in the last recovery. He's been president for a long time.
And the other thing they're trying to get away with right now, and they're repeating over and over and over again, is that they're cutting the deficit faster than at any time in the last 60 years.
So sad.
Now, that is an unbelievable statistic,
and
if you know anything about the economy.
Right. It's a good thing to not believe.
It is.
Isn't it?
Because, first of all, it's not true at face value.
No.
First of all, it isn't true because we reduced the deficit at a faster rate from 2004 to 2007 than we are right now under Bush. The other thing is, here's what they're basing it on.
Yeah, they're doing this. They're doing this whole percent of GDP thing
as a percentage of GDP,
right. And what they're not including in that, of course,
jeez,
in this awful analysis, is that they have all the records. So they're talking about decreasing the debt from their own records. It's like, it's like pick I don't know. Jeff Fisher is a baseball player, and Jeff, he goes out and he goes 0 for 1,000, and then he gets a base hit. And then he says, well, now I've gone 1 for my last, one for last one. And
I'm
then
1,000. I'm batting 1,000 right now.
Then the next
instead
year,
of 0.
So he finishes the year 1 for 1,000, and it says it's an improvement. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you were batting 0. And you've certainly improved off of that percentage. Even like they're talking about, they have the worst year of all time. They have the second worst year of all time. They have the third worst year of all time. They have the fourth worst year of all time. And they are bragging about their own projections about being the fifth worst year of all time. They are acting as if that's a positive. And the media swallows it.
Yeah,
the media swallows it.
They didn't realize how bad it was when they took office. I mean, it was. We knew it was bad.
I mean,
we knew it was bad,
but not this bad.
That's their argument on something else. That's not even their argument on this.
Yeah,
I mean, they're just acting as if, at the beginning it was really bad, but we've improved off of that. And look, you can make an argument. It's never taken any administration ever in measured history this long to deal with an issue ever. I mean, just that in and of itself shows how incompetent you are.
They're awful.
But still, when you're bragging about what would be, if their projections are correct, and they're usually wrong, but if their projections were even correct, the fifth worst year in American history. And he's been president for 5 years. He has all 5 of them. All of them are his.
And we're supposed to swallow that he's doing great on the economy. It's just awesome.
It's awesome.